All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Fistful of Dice. My name is Matt. Happy Father's Day. Got some time to myself here this afternoon. Finished up some work stuff this morning, and my wife has been nice enough to kind of take care of my daughter solo today, so I could have a couple hours to myself. So, we're going to start on this Gundam kit, and I want to talk about this kit a little bit before we get cracking here. This kit was actually sent to me by a friend of mine, James, over at Jarl of Goats on YouTube. If you type in Jarl of Goats, you can find him here on YouTube. He's a tabletop RPG streamer. He does a lot of awesome games, cool stuff over there, and he had been checking out some of the Gunpla streams and was nice enough to send me this kit that was collecting dust in his closet. This is actually a kit from 1995, when 08th MS Team originally aired. So this is an 08th MS Team kit. So this has just been kind of sitting in his closet. He didn't really have plans to do anything with it, and so he sent it to a good home. And I promised him that we would build this on the stream. So I'm actually working on another kit right now. Grab it here. I'm working on a master grade Jesta from Gundam Unicorn. I've been making pretty decent progress on that, but it's not quick progress. So, but that's turning out really cool. And I actually installed, let me see if I can get this on the camera to show up. I installed LEDs in the chest so the visor lights up, which is really cool. Really, really cool. So anyway, yeah, that's a master grade. So that's a much more complicated kit. It's bigger. It's a 1/100 scale versus the 1/144 of the high grades. So it's a bigger kit, but it's been a lot of fun to work on. So, but this should go pretty quick on stream. I might be able to even knock one of these guys out here if I make good time. So this is a 2-pack. There's a RX-79 ground type Gundam in here, as well as a Zaku 2. So two of my favorite suits, really. So it's cool to have them in a 2-pack. And yeah, having this older kit from 95 is pretty cool. So yeah, looking forward to it. So we're going to go ahead and just follow the instructions here. So the first thing that we build is the RX-79. So we're going to go ahead and start on that. Hey, everybody in the chat. How's it going? Hope everyone's having a good day, and happy Father's Day to all the dad and father figures out there. I've been having a good Father's Day myself. Slept in this morning, had some breakfast, hung out with my daughter. We watched a movie, and have just been kind of chilling. Went for a walk, played some video games. Tonight, my wife and I will watch some Drag Race and kind of hang out and spend the evening together. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up all of these runners, because I think that there are some pieces that are shared on the runners. It's interesting, the hands are on the PC runner, which I haven't seen before. That must be a feature of the older kits. The plastic definitely feels different. It's like a softer plastic, but that was pretty indicative of the older kits. It's cool kind of diving into an older kit like this. This is when I initially got into Gunpla. I think it was, let's see here. So I was into Gundam Wing, and so I was building a lot of wing kits. So it was probably like, oh, geez, when was that? Would that have been 6th grade? 5th or 6th grade? I think it was 6th grade. So let's see here. 6th grade would have been, I would have been, what? 10 or 11 years old. So that puts me at about 1999, I think, right? No, 1998. So that's crazy. Oh, you know what? It looks like he built one piece. James built one piece here. He built this cannon. So that's the one piece that is built in here. Everything else is unbuilt. Let me get the decals out of here. These are some heat transfer decals. Okay. Okay. So, let's see. Definitely need this and this for the RX-79, this as well. And it looks like these are all for the Zaku. So we'll go ahead and put those back in the box. And then, let's see here. This is, I think these are the same except for this. Oh no, they're exactly the same. Okay, cool. So we'll just need one of those. These pieces, we'll set the decals aside here. And we'll go ahead and get started on this kit. So, yeah, I got a new cutting mat here. It's really nice. This was sent to me by someone in the Washington State Gunpla group on Facebook. It's kind of cool. It's got the original RX-78 there, doing the shooting the beam rifle up into the air from the original series. And then I've got a sticker on here. This is the gold Gundam unicorn sticker from New Type, so I stuck that on there too. So it's like a small cutting mat, but really I don't need anything bigger than this. So yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started here. Looks like we're gonna be starting with the legs, so we'll start with this runner here. And feel free to drop any questions or things you want to hear me talk about in the chat, and I'll be keeping an eye on the chat as well. So, and let me know if you can hear the music too. I think the music might be a little quiet, so let's turn that up a little bit. There we go. Hopefully that's good for you guys. All right. So, legs. We need A30 and A31. So, we're looking at A30, A31 right here. So, go ahead and cut those guys out here. Not a ton of crazy detail on these kits. These are older kits, so obviously the level of articulation and the level of detail is not going to be as high, but it's cool to be building a kit that is like a little bit more from the era, like when I started getting into like Gundam and really into mecha in general. So yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, here's the head pieces here. There's the side of the head here. There's the face. There's the shield. Yeah, pretty standard sort of situation here. All right, and then we're gonna need some pieces off of this C runner as well. Oh, hey Chris. Hey Matt. Don't know if you heard, Meteoroid is making an updated Escaflowne kit that should be out later this year. Unfortunately, it's only about 140 millimeters, about 6 inches, so HG size. Yes, I actually saw, I think a pre-order went up on one of the websites that I frequent that there was going to be a new Escaflowne kit. I'm absolutely going to be picking up an Escaflowne kit. There's no way I'm not. I've never built an Escaflowne kit, but Escaflowne is probably, I'd say Escaflowne is a top 5 just anime in general for me, not even just mecha, just anime in general. Absolutely love Escaflowne. It's such a cool blend of like mecha and fantasy. The like mecha designs are really neat. I love the bad guys. Yeah, Escaflowne is great. Score is incredible. It's got to be one of the best scores in any anime ever. All right, so set those pieces aside here. So, I got everything cut off the runners. Now I take my my nice sharp nippers here and clean up the nubs. Yeah, my goal is I really want to finish at least one of these guys on stream. So that's what I'm going to shoot for here. I'm not like speeding through it, but I'm definitely not like necessarily taking my time either. So with I'm coming off a MG master grade build, so this is the pieces seem very small. The build seems pretty simple, so it should go pretty fast for me here. Yeah, so what I do is I you know, I've got these cheap nippers here, and I use those to cut the pieces off the runners, and then I use my nicer, sharper nippers, side cutters here to kind of remove the nubs from the actual pieces. It's a lot easier to get really nice and close to the piece and nip them off. Plus then the actual nippers last a little bit longer because I'm not using them to also cut them off the runners, so yeah. Hey, thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's funny. I still don't really think... I know I'm a dad, but I don't... I mean, I have a daughter, but I don't think of myself as a father necessarily. I don't know. That's weird to say. I think of myself as a father. I still don't equate Father's Day to being something that is for me, if that makes sense. So, it's, you know, interesting. I was out for a walk with my daughter, and you know, this woman saw us and was like, "Hey, happy Father's Day," and I was like, "Is she talking to me?" And then I was like, "Oh, right, thank you." You know, I'm like, I want to be like, "Yes, indeed, happy Father's Day to all of the fathers everywhere, but not me." So anyway, it's a trip. So I'm just cleaning up the nub marks a little bit with a hobby knife here. Yeah, I might get my sanding sticks in here too, just to smooth them out a little bit. Yeah, the plastic is definitely softer on these kits. I don't know if softer is the right word though, but it's like a different, like, not necessarily quality, but it's just like a different kind of plastic. It definitely feels different. So it's interesting. Yeah, actually went into my local anime shop actually in person for the first time in a while the other day, because my county has moved on to phase 2 of quarantine, so certain businesses are allowed to open with restrictions. You know, they can only let certain people in. You're encouraged to wear masks and all that kind of stuff. So I popped in there to pick up a couple things the other day, and that felt weird. Felt like I was doing something wrong, just because I'm not, you know, not used to getting out and going into stores and stuff anymore. But yeah, you know, most people here in Tacoma are being safe, and people are continuing to wear their masks and social distance and stuff. So that's good. At least where I am, it seems like people are, you know, handling the first stages of the reopening, at least in a somewhat mature fashion, responsible fashion. So yeah. Michael, Drop Dice Chris there just answered your question for you. But basically, if you, when you take a piece and you cut it really close to the piece, you could get what are called stress marks, where basically where the piece breaks off from the runner, it puts stress on the plastic, and you get these like dents and almost like wrinkles. Like, that's not the right word, but that's the best way to describe them, is they kind of look like wrinkles in the plastic. So if you cut them with a little bit of space between the actual piece and the runner, then you're able to carefully cut the piece off, and you're not putting as much stress on the plastic that way. So it's just, you know, it's not required obviously, but it's one really easy way to reduce the amount of strain that is being put on the plastic, so it ends up looking nicer when you put it together. So, all right. A lot of little like tricks like that just kind of help with that sort of stuff. So, so there's a couple pieces here that I wanted to just run over with my sanding sticks here. So this is 800 grit. I usually start with about 600, 800 grit when I'm doing sanding, and then I'll work my way up to kind of smooth it out a little bit. Nice thing about I usually do a matte top coat. I use where is it? Stuff. It's Mr. Super Smooth Clear matte finish. It's basically a top coat, like finishing, sealing spray. It'll make sure that your panel lines and your decals and stuff stay where they are supposed to. But it also it has the added benefit of kind of filling in and covering up any blemishes on the kit. So if you have any sanding marks or weird like dents or wrinkles, or stress marks like we were talking about a little bit ago, the matte top coat will help kind of cover that stuff up. So yeah, it's helpful. And I like the look that it gives the kit. Like there's something to be said for like a nice shiny glossy kit, but I like the look of a matte finish kit a little bit better. I think it just gives it makes it look less like plastic, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, you can be a little bit less careful if you're planning on, painting the whole thing, doing airbrush over it. But for me, I don't paint my kits. I do some detail work with Gundam markers and stuff, and I do decals and stuff, obviously. But yeah, I try to put as little strain and stress on the plastic as possible, because those little stress marks really make it clear that it's, a little plastic toy kit and not, a big hulking robot. So, okay, cool. Feeling good about these pieces. I'll go over them again with a sanding stick of a little bit higher grit. We've got 1,000 grit and 3,000 grit here. Once I snap them together and have a feel for any sort of rough edges that are sticking out. Let's move my X-Acto up. Okay. So we want one of these guys here. And we need one of these guys. So that goes in here. It's basically a knee joint, I think is what this is. Looks like anyway. And then it's gonna go. Yay. And we need for the attached to the hip, we need a PCE, which are these guys, these little poly caps. The poly cap runner is always this like softer plastic. It's like super soft plastic, so it's whatever. And plus, you're hardly ever actually seeing the poly caps on the finished kit, so it doesn't matter if you cut them, incorrectly or whatever. So this guy's going right here. Trying to, at least. Here, come on. Might actually need to use my tweezers with this. There we go. Okay, so this here is that'll be the left thigh and knee here. And this will be the right. So same deal. You take this, get one of these guys with a little poly cap joint in there. There we go. Ooh, that's actually a little rough there on the bottom. Let's give that a quick go. Okay, and let's get the polycap in there for the hip joint. Just make sure it's in there correctly. There we go. Okay. All right. Oop, you know what? I put that knee joint on backwards, so let's go ahead and here's my trick for prying apart a piece you've already taken apart, is you just get your hobby knife in that seam and just kind of wiggle it around, and you can loosen it up a little bit. So super easy. Go. Yeah, Brian, there's so a lot of people do weathering or battle damage on their kits. You know, a lot of people like a pristine kit that looks like it, you know, sort of walked off the assembly line at the Gundam factory, but no, a lot of people do weathering and battle damage. I like to do a little weathering myself. I don't do it on every kit, but it is fun to do weathering. I actually have a couple weathering kits in here. These are weathering kits here that I use. They're essentially like almost like makeup palettes, like eyeshadow palettes. So in each of these little kits, we've got a little palette with the little brush, and you can basically take that brush, you know, take whatever color you want. There's like rust or soot or silver, so it looks, you know, weathered and worn. You basically brush that over the kit, and it kind of hits the edges and the high points and stuff and gives it a nice weathered look. So yeah, I've done that with a couple of my kits for sure. Some people really get into it and they'll do like bullet holes and melted pieces and stuff like that. So yeah, for sure, people do that. Hey, Alan, happy Father's Day. Hey, John, how's it going, man? I'm building, this is actually a 08th MS Team 2-pack that I got sent in the mail by James, Jarl of Goats. So it's a Zaku 2 and an RX-79 from, oh my god, from 08th MS Team. So it's actually an older kit from 1995. So, yeah, I've got an MG build that I'm working on right now that's a Jesta from Gundam Unicorn, but I'm taking a little break from that to do these guys, so they're quite a bit easier, quicker to build, I say, as I put the knee joint on backwards. Oh, actually, did I? Oh, no, I put it upside down. That's what I did. Yeah, that's funny. Okay. Yeah, that's what you want. So I think I actually may have put the other one on incorrectly as well, so yeah. Yeah, Nepti, I miss Provokers too. We're actually, we're probably going to be getting that going here soon. Trying to coordinate schedules and stuff with everybody, so it'll be really good to get back to that soon, yeah. Okay, so it is, yes, it is that. Okay, cool. Here we go. Okay, and then, yeah, because you want it basically facing forward with that little lip, and that'll go in the shin. So this one is backwards. So one I put in upside down, the other I put in backwards. So we're starting out really well here. That's what I get for rushing a little bit. Yeah, John, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I was actually, today's been a pretty mecha heavy day. I'm reinstalling Titanfall 2 on my computer. I really want to play through that single player campaign again. I was watching Gundam Unicorn this morning, and now I'm working on some Gunpla kits. So yeah, been a very mecha Father's Day for sure. Oh, cool. Josh, that's great, man. I'm really glad that you enjoyed 08th MS Team. That's definitely one of my favorites. I recommend that a lot to people because it's pretty quick, like it's pretty short, but it's really good. And it does a fairly good job of like presenting a lot of the like tropes of Gundam without it being like super over the top. Like there's not a ton of like melodrama to it. It just feels kind of grounded and cool. And I love the like boots on the ground, like Gundams in Vietnam sort of feel that OA MS team has. So yeah, definitely one of my favorites. So, and the session 0 that John mentioned earlier in the chat, we're kicking off a mecha hack game tomorrow. We're going to do the session 0 tomorrow. It's going to be unbroadcasted, but the campaign itself will be broadcasted, of course. And that'll be starting here in a couple weeks. So that's really cool too. Really excited about that. Got some good players. Got John, we've got Barker, we've got Aaron Van Sock, got Matt Brown, and JB Little. So yeah, it should be a pretty good time. So I'm doing a little sanding here on the legs because I'm just trying to disguise the seam lines a little bit. If I wanted to get really crazy with it, I could take a little bit of like this liquid cement and kind of fill in the gap and let it dry and then sand it. So, but I don't want to go that crazy with it. So we'll just sand a little bit to kind of just like cover up those seam lines a little bit. So yeah, I hope so too, John. I really loved both Titanfall games. Titanfall 2 especially, that single player campaign was just rad as hell. It's so good. It really surprised me how good the campaign for Titanfall 2 was. Yeah, and the multiplayer is just really difficult, but really, really, really cool. So yeah, Titanfall's dope. Actually have a BT from Titanfall 2 right here. And he's got, I always forget the name of the pilot. Jack, I think is his name. But anyway, I remember BT because he's the best character. But okay, so got the thighs done here. We're going to move on to the shins, which that took a little bit longer than I was anticipating, but that's okay. All right, so we'll move these off to the side here. So we obviously we're going to be cutting off these pieces here. These are the shins. Okay. There we go. All right, and then we want these knee pieces here, which I think I will probably do a little gray on to make them pop a little bit more because they're supposed to be gray. Those are those little like armored knee pad looking pieces. We've got those, and then we'll need the top of the feet, which is here. It's the top of the foot. So yeah, this kit's coming together pretty quick. There's really not a whole lot to it. Okay, I think that's everything I need off this runner. We need the feet off of this runner. We'll take those guys off here. Okay. Okay, so we got feet. We've got top of the foot. We need one polycap, or two polycaps actually, for one for each foot here, which is going to be polycap F, which are these guys here. So we'll go ahead and cut those. Okay. And then we'll get to work cleaning these pieces up. So, and actually the first thing I want to do here is I'm going to do these guys, and I'm going to do gray, like a metal gray on them, I think. So we'll go ahead and clean these guys up first. And hit them with a little gray so they have time to dry before we put the legs together, so they can dry while we're cleaning up the other pieces. Dude, John, Gundam Seed has been on my list for a while, man. I think that might be what I watch next. I'm about to finish Unicorn. Yeah. Okay. Got a gray here. So I need to decide if I want to do like a metallic gray or like a gray. Let's get those pieces, those markers out here really quick. And we'll also get out a couple of these guys. And these will help, basically, they'll hold the pieces and ensure that they dry correctly, or dry quickly, rather. So, yeah, so I gotta decide. So this is like a metallic thing here, and then this is just gray. I might just do just the gray rather than go full on metallic with it here. So we're just gonna get in here with this guy. Actually, you know what though? Yeah, that's not gonna work. Let's try see if this adheres better. Yeah, I think that's gonna be better for us. So the plastic is just not, it's not soaking it up as much as I'm used to it doing. So we'll go ahead and go with a darker color so that it's more evident. So for me, I like the markers because they're easier to work with without any other, like, it's very little cleanup. Like, I don't have to worry about cleaning up brushes or like a paint palette. I don't have to worry about using too much or too little. You just take the cap off and go for it. So yeah, I do like the markers. I definitely, if I was going to do like a full paint job on a kit, I would want to use actual paint or use an airbrush or something similar, just because the markers they're great for detail work and coloring one or two pieces. But if you wanted to do like a whole kit, definitely you'd want to use paints rather than the markers. So, oh, that's cool, Chris. Yeah, I was actually wondering about that, what mold that Zako used from that contest. So I think this part we won't actually see, but a little bit of. So just get that, make sure we get in the little crevice here. So I might have to do a couple coats on these guys. We'll see. Get the back side of the piece here just so none of the white shows through. Here we go. I will say sometimes it's difficult to get the marker in small spaces where you want it. Like, you kind of have to get creative sometimes. Like in here, what I might end up doing is just kind of letting it pool a little bit. So that it fills in that little crack and gets that little there. All right, that's one done. Let's grab our other guy here. So, yes, this is like a dark, like gunmetal sort of look. I've used this on my, I did a GM ground type a while back that I used this on like some of the joint pieces and stuff, and it ended up looking really cool, and I weathered it and stuff. So I think we're definitely going to be weathering these two kits. I think they're kind of crying out for it, especially 08th MS team. Like, you've just got that kind of grounded, gritty sort of feel. So I feel like I have to, right? Because they're not fighting in space in 08th MS team. They're fighting in the dirt and the mud and forest and getting dust from like toppling buildings and shit on them. So yeah, I feel like I got to. So that'll be cool. That'll be fun. I like doing weathering. So what I'll do is I'll finish building the kits. I'll do the panel lining on them. I'll probably do some decals. And then I will seal it. And then I'll do the weathering. And then I'll seal it again. And that'll just ensure that the panel lining and the decals and stuff all stay in place. And I'm able to do the weathering over the top of them. So it all looks like one, one kit. So, all right, go. All right, so those pieces are all detailed up. We're gonna go ahead and set them over here and let them just chill for a bit while we clean up the rest of our leg pieces here. So, oop, I just noticed I have a little bit of gray on my finger here, and that will absolutely rub off on the other pieces, so I want to make sure that I take care of that. Basically put a little bit of thinner on a Q-tip and wipe it off my hand. Make sure I don't have anywhere else. Cool. Because that is, if you get it on your hands and then you touch the pieces, all of a sudden you realize, oh shit, like I smeared paint all over these white pieces, and even if I get all of the paint off, there's still going to be some weird dark stain there that I'll never be able to get rid of. Now, I will say, with weathering, you worry about that so much less because, the kit's going to be weathered anyway, and, like, even if it's still visible and not covered up by the weathering, it'll just look like part of the, oh, it looks like a smudge or a dent or rust or, soot, battle damage, whatever. So that's another thing weathering has going for it, is it very easily covers up your mistakes, so which is nice. Chris, that's awesome. You're getting into airbrushing, man. Do you have an airbrush setup? Do you do like, do you have venting or spray booth, or are you just doing like ventilator mask and stuff so you're not breathing in the particulates? You'll have to let me know. I'm interested in looking into airbrushing at some point, probably no time soon, but it would be cool. I love the finish you get with airbrushing is always really nice. So okay. That was close. I saw these two pieces here, and I almost went and like nibbed them, but they're the connectors for the top of the foot, the white piece on the top of the foot. So that would have been bad if I had done that. It would not have been good. I will say that. Cool. Outdoor booth. Nice. That's smart. I think that's, if I do end up getting into airbrushing, that's probably what I will do as well, is some sort of outdoor booth. I do have, I have a window right here, right next to my desk. Literally I reach out and touch it. So I could potentially do like a little spray booth setup over here and vent everything, you know, right out the window. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm like not super like chomping at the bit for it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's pretty low on my list of investments at this point. So both like money and like time, if that makes sense. Okay, I don't have to get super crazy cleaning up the top of the feet because they're going to be covered by the white plates. But depending on the pose that I put the kid in, the white plates might be lifting up. So I do want to make sure that I at least make sure that there's no like nothing super obviously heinous there. So okay, let's put these feet together really quick. This is like a really easy way to tell it's an old kit, is there's absolutely no detail on the bottom of the foot, as opposed to like the bottom of this kit's feet, right? So, which is like, you know, how often are you going to see the bottom of the feet? But it's just, it's, you know, indicative of the little touches like that, little pieces of improvements in quality over the years. Oh yeah, Chris. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. So when your youngest basically gives up their nursery and gets to sleep with Big Bro, you get that room for an office. That'll be nice. Just cleaning up the bottoms of the feet there. Do a quick clean up the top here too. Okay. And these go on here. Tops of the feet. There. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Might do some quick panel lining here once we put everything together. So how are these pieces looking here? All right, so they're looking pretty dry, but I'm gonna go over these pieces one more time with this marker. Give them another coat. because I can see the white showing through a little bit. So I just want to touch up some of those areas. And while that second coat dries, we'll do a quick, we'll do some panel lining on the pieces we've already built. There we go. Hey, thanks, Charlie. Appreciate that. Once that room is mine again, I'll start streaming more reliably again too. So pretty jazzed for it. Yeah, that's great, Chris. I'd imagine that would be. I don't know what I'd do without this office space. Honestly, I feel like I would drive myself and my family nuts if I didn't have it. So I'm very fortunate in that regard. So there's not a whole lot of panel lining we'll be able to do on the thigh pieces here, but that's okay. But we do have some panel lines here on the feet, so we'll go ahead and do those really quick. So with panel lining, got two methods here that I like to use, and I feel like they both have their uses. This is a panel line wash, which is basically, it's a wash, so it's paint with a thinner built in, and you use the little brush, and the paint is so thin that it'll fill in any sort of crevice or line. It'll just run and fill any space that you put it into. So that's a really, really easy way to do it. But if you're wanting more control with the panel lining, these panel lining markers are really nice. They're essentially ultra fine tip Sharpies. I have them in a few different colors. I've got black, and then I also have a brown and a gray, depending on the color. But I generally just prefer to use the black no matter what. So I think we'll go ahead and do panel lining on the feet here. So we've got little rivet marks here. As someone who paints a lot of things with spray guns, I understand wanting to wait or avoid spray booths, so I'm spraying much larger objects. Yeah, guitars are quite a bit bigger than Gundam kits for sure. Oops. Went way outside the line there. That's okay though. Oh god. It's a nice thing about this plastic is you usually have a little grace period when you put ink down or paint down. You have a moment before it dries. Okay. So panel lining is like probably the easiest thing you can do to add, just like add a little oomph to the kit. It defines the light and dark areas and adds a lot of definition and detail to the kit. Makes it feel more dynamic, like there's more going on, like it's not just, you know, molded plastic. So I'll show you the difference here once I finish. So, and there's a part here at the top that is a little bit more intricate, and I'm going to go ahead and use the wash for that. Do you ever do oil or water washes for aging? I've been playing with that with Warhammer 40K. So I do washes a lot with miniatures, just to do some... I'll usually use a wash for shadows on miniatures, which works really well and is like probably the simplest way to do that. You know, washes and dry brushing is the easiest way to get like, detail out of your miniature kits. But I found because these are so much larger scale that they don't they don't necessarily take to washes as well. There's not as many little pieces and things to like for the wash to collect in, so it ends up just kind of not staining the plastic, but kind of giving the plastic like a weird stained look, if that makes sense. So I haven't, aside from panel line washing, I haven't messed with washes very much with my Gunpla kits. Oop, I just spotted another little rivet in there. Q-tips are Gundam builder's best friend, I tell you what. For cleaning up mistakes and whatnot. Oops. And then I just made another mistake. Same mistake, actually. There we go. There. My brother got really into Gunpla after we spent a few weeks watching Gundam Seed growing up. What got you into the hobby? Gundam Wing. Gundam Wing in the late 90s. That actually kind of introduced me to mecha, at least Eastern mecha. I played a lot of like Mech Warrior and stuff growing up, and I'd always kind of been enamored with giant robots. But there was something about Gundam Wing, it just kind of, it really captured me, and really instilled in me a lifelong love of Gundam and mecha, and yeah, Gundam Wing. That was the first kits I built and stuff. So yeah. Go. There, I noticed some little nub marks there, so I wanted to clean those up. Yeah, no, that's exactly, yeah, if you're working on an Imperial Knight, I mean, that's basically the size of a Gundam kit, so it's like all of a sudden it's like completely different techniques because of the size of it. So, all right, so it probably won't show up on camera, but you can see the difference in the, come on. It's not going to do it. This webcam is so janky with the autofocus. There we go, a little bit. You can kind of see the difference between the panel lined versus the unpanel lined. It just brings out a lot of the details. So we'll go ahead and panel line this foot too, and then these knee pads should be good to go. So. Okay. Oh man, I grilled pizza last night. I know that sounds a little weird, but just stay with me here. So I have a big gas grill that I bought a couple months back to use this summer, because we actually have like a backyard now and a covered area and stuff and room to have that kind of thing. So, and I've been grilling all kinds of stuff with it and doing fish and steak and burgers and chicken and things like that. And I've been wanting to try grilled pizza because, a propane grill, a gas grill, is essentially a big, gigantic oven that preheats really fast and allows you to, apply direct heat while cooking. So, you can kind of almost simulate like a brick oven style pizza with a gas grill, because they'll get, 550, 600 degrees in about 10 minutes if you just let it sit there and preheat. So, yeah, my wife and I, we proofed some pizza dough yesterday, and tried it on the grill. You basically, you oil one side and then slap it on the grill, oil the other side while one side is cooking. You flip, put toppings on, close the lid, let it cook for 4 or 5 minutes tops, and it turns out great. Has this like wonderful like char kind of flavor to it, not a bad like char, but yeah, like it just gets that little like blistered quality that you get with a good like brick oven pizza. So it was very tasty. I was super happy with the way that it turned out, especially given that we were just kind of giving it a shot. So all right, so we've got our knee piece here. We're gonna go ahead and start putting the legs on. So let's see here. There we go. So we want to make sure that we have our polycap piece here on here. That'll connect to the little ball joint here on the foot. And then the other thing we'll want to do is take one of these guys, one of our kneecap pieces here. Stick that right here. There we go. And then there we go. Right? Yeah. Wait. No. Let's try this again. Let's try it one more time. There we go. 5th time's the charm. 5th time's the right piece. There we go. All right, so immediately I'm realizing that I'll need to fill in the back here with some of that metallic silver, because it does show on the back of the leg if you look from the back. So we'll want to do that. But other than that, leg's looking pretty good. I want to do some cleanup here on some of these seams. Get some of these nub marks off. Hey, that's not cool. Anybody reading any good books? I recently started reading Born by Jeff Vandermeer, which Jeff Vandermeer, he wrote a trilogy of books called the Southern Reach trilogy, of which the book Annihilation, they made that into a movie, is a part of that trilogy. Anyway, I started reading a book called Born by him, and it is nuts. It's very like a hard time describing it, but if you've seen the Miyazaki film Nausicaa, where it's like post-apocalyptic with like crazy like engineered like creatures and stuff like that, like it's sort of like that, but it has that like almost weird Lovecraftian like Jeff Vandermeer sort of spin to it. So yeah, really strange, really unsettling, but like very nicely written, very well written, and it's reading pretty quick too. So anyway, I've been reading that lately and really enjoying it, so highly recommend it, especially if you've liked Vandermeer's other stuff like Annihilation. So okay, so okay, interesting. I think we are supposed to put some stickers here on the back, some decals, but we'll deal with that later. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and clean these legs up a little bit. Ooh, reading Mecha Hack. Nice. Actually got a new RPG book yesterday. I got my Kickstarter copy of Ultraviolet Grasslands, which is a pretty cool little setting book, man. Been enjoying looking through it. Oh, my headphones are starting to die. That might be a good sign to start wrapping up the stream here, but the rules, the game that comes packaged with Ultraviolet Grasslands is not my favorite. Like, it's just kind of there, but the setting itself is very, very cool, so I'm happy that I have it, and I love the art inside of it too. So I don't think I would ever use the system that comes packaged with it. I'm not a big fan. So hey Chris, have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping by. And yes, Gunpla is freedom. That's absolutely right. Oh man, string of books that you haven't enjoyed that much. That's the worst, John. I hate that. I get that sometimes too, where I'll read 2 or 3 books in a row and just be like, I don't think I really enjoyed any of those. Which is, yeah, such a crappy feeling. So we're just cleaning up some of these. Oh, one of my favorite books is called Free the Darkness by Kelcade. It's the first book in the King's Dark Tidings series. So good. I'll have to check that out. I haven't heard of that. I'll definitely check that out. All right. So, made some pretty good progress today. We got these legs done, man. So I'll definitely do some panel lining and some more detail work on these legs. And I want to get these kneecaps fully grayed as well. So, yeah. Anyway, though, this has been fun, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. And I hope you continue to have a good weekend. Be streaming again soon for sure. I'm gonna make sure that I do the whole process of these kits on stream. So building them, doing decals, weathering, all that stuff I want to do on stream. So I won't be working on these kits outside of the stream. These will be my stream only kits. So next time I stream Gunpla, we'll be working on these guys again. So yeah, thanks again for stopping by, everybody. Take care, happy gaming all, and we'll see you next time on Gunpla and Chill.